Okay, keeping our fingers crossed. Okay, hello. You have no idea how close I came to not making it to the show. Even though I'm 5 minutes late, I thought it was not going to happen at all. Hello and welcome. Oh, good. I even got Facebook in time. Facebook makes it very, very stressful when you can't start on time. My name is Kathleen, and I'm here as your tech coach. Tonight, we're going to talk about the things that you can do to when you get to that point in your business where you're ready to hire some help without losing your mind, because that really would not be helpful, right? So let me hit the magic button, and we will dive in, and we will get going. Okay, I don't know why that screen is up. Hello and welcome. My name is Kathleen, and I am here as your tech coach. For those of you who are new, tech is my day gig. It's also my hobby, so I'm the person everybody turns to when they have questions, when they have problems, when they're looking for solutions. And that's why the show is here, because not everybody has me available to them on a regular basis for answers to their questions and their challenges. Thank you so much for being here. Tonight we are going to talk about some tips, some things you need to keep in mind. Okay, this is really not what I need right now. Hang on. All right, I just have to start it off this way. So look, I've just come from the eye doctor. It took what should have taken 20 minutes took me an hour and a half to get there, almost an hour to get back. And my pupils are still dilated, so to be perfectly honest, I can see colors on my screen, but I actually can't see a whole lot of detail. So this is going to be an interesting show tonight. We're going to be doing a lot of this off of memory. Fortunately, I spent weeks preparing this one because it's a very deep topic, but it's just going to be one of those shows. So my eyes look funny. It's not you. It's not your machine. It's actually me, because the drops take forever to wear off on me. Goodness is, I only needed to get new sunglasses. I thought I was going to have to replace them all, but evidently my prescription has not changed that much, so win for me. Okay, now let's get back to you. Let's see if we can get me back on topic. So, this is what we're talking about. So, most people start off, as a solo entrepreneur, right? Everybody starts off with a dream and an idea, and they start to dig in. Occasionally, you get into a situation where maybe you are hiring right from the start, but for many of us, it's starting off pretty much on your own, right? And then hopefully things get rolling, and then you get to that point where you're like, I need help. I need help. And of course, by the time you've reached that point, you need the help yesterday, right? Because that's how this works. And to be honest, that's generally how anybody hires. It doesn't matter what size of the company, how long they've been in business, none of that matters, how many times they've hired before. Generally, by the time people get to the point where they're like, I need to hire somebody, that need actually represented itself quite a while ago, which tends to then add to the stress level, because people are like, now you're trying to run your business, do everything, yourself, and you need to hire somebody, and then you're knowing that you're gonna have to train them, and maybe you don't know about, how to pay them, and payrolls, and health insurance, and like there's all these new things now that you have to deal with, right? So let's start off with the really simple question that a lot of people skip. And that is, do you really need an employee, or do you just need some help for a period of time? And the way to identify that, frankly, is to take a deep breath, slow down, stop, and think very carefully about what it is that somebody could step in and help you with right away. Because it may not be somebody that you won't need to hire as an employee. Maybe that's a longer term goal, and longer term could be a couple of weeks. But maybe you need somebody right away to help you with something. So you need to write down everything you're doing, and then pat yourself on the back, because it's going to be a long list. Then from there, look specifically for something that somebody could jump in and help you with that doesn't require a lot of hand-holding by you, training by you, ramp up time, right? Because your initial problem by the time you've gotten to this point is, my hair's on fire, I need help now. So some ideas to think about. Maybe you could hire somebody to help you with your social media for a little while. Maybe you just need somebody to write copy for you, right? For your ads or for your social postings. Maybe you still want to do that, but you need somebody to write ads or create the artwork, right? So you could go to something like Fiverr. You could go to the local community college, or even, the high school, tap into students that are looking for some real work experience, something for their portfolio. You'd be surprised how good that work can be. Things like Fiverr, so that's Fiverr. Actually, I could bring that one up. Hang on one sec. There's all kinds of places that you can turn to get something quick that, yeah, okay, maybe you're not going to use it forever, but it will get you where you need to be now. Let me bring this up. So in case you haven't heard of Fiverr before, it is, here we go. It's a website that you can go to where people with a wide variety of skills make themselves available to do work for you. And so you can go in there and you can do a search for whatever. So let's say that you're looking for, how about social media posts, right? There we go. So you've got everything starting from $5 to starting to $500. So you've got quite a spread there. And the nice thing is you can go through, you can filter it down, you can look for specialty areas. So maybe, whatever your business is, a special domain, you might find somebody that actually has experience working in that. You can also search through to look for people who have a lot of reviews, right? Because that way they're pre-vetted for you. They've gotten those reviews by doing lots of work for people and making them very happy. I know a lot of people who rely on this for those, oh my God, I need help right now moments. And they speak very highly of it. To be honest, I haven't tried it yet, but I'm starting to look at it myself because there's some things that's like, yes, I could do this, but it's not the best use of my time right now. So it's just something to think about when you're getting that feeling of, I need help. Like some others. So there's not just Fiverr. There's all kinds of ones out there. So maybe you need somebody to write something. Maybe you need somebody to pull together some social media. Maybe you need somebody to do some research for you, right? So the other thing that you can think about is virtual assistants. So a virtual assistant is somebody who is kind of like a contractor. They usually have a very specific set of skills. What was on that movie? Just jumped in my head and I can't remember his name. But anyway, particular set of skills, right? So it's somebody that you can hire that is used to working for a lot of different people, has had a lot of work experience. Let's say that you need somebody to do some research on maybe a new area that maybe you're looking to, branch out into, or maybe it's, you're looking to expand your product line into something you've not tried before. They can do the research for you. They can get the numbers. They can do the research on vendors to help you make that decision to see if that's going to be a good fit for you without you getting into a employer-employee situation and having to worry about payroll and health insurance and all that kind of stuff. So it's just something to think about before you go whole hog into buying, into hiring somebody to come and work for you, because it could be just the breathing room that you need to really stop and think about it. Because when you go to hire an employee, that's a big deal, and you need to think it through. You need to be very clear. You need to go through the process well and with a clear goal in mind in order for it to be successful, because the worst thing you can do in this scenario is rush into something, throw an ad out there asking for somebody who, for a unicorn basically, who can do everything and fix everything and doesn't need training, get annoyed with the process because, let's face it, the interview process is horrid for both sides, and then you just pick somebody at random because you just need to get it done. That is not the way to get a good employee. So take a step back, think about it. Maybe it's a good time to try something else like Fiverr or the local community around you, or find yourself a virtual assistant for a little while. You can get all kinds of recommendations. There's tons of services out there. You can get people who are local. You can get people in different time zones if you want to make, take advantage of that time shifting kind of thing. But it does give you that breathing room before you dive into the big hire situation, because that is a process. And it is a process that you don't want to rush. You can't rush it if you want to be successful at it. All right? I'm just checking. I'm sorry. You know what? I forgot Periscope. I'm so sorry. I forgot to make sure I had you up here. Let me do that now. Hello, Murphman. I wish I could bring Murphman up here because he got groomed and he's looking very, very cute. Okay. I have you up now, Periscope. So if you had a comment, go ahead and just put it back in because I can guarantee I missed it. Hey, Murphy, you want to come up and say hi? Come on. Come say hi. Come on. Oh, he's being shy. Let's see if I can get the cam up. I'm just going to try that real quick. Let's see if that works. Okay, well, you kind of see him, right? Hey, Murphy. Who's a good-looking boy? There he is, see? There's a good-looking boy right there. Hello. He doesn't want to come up, but he doesn't know that I have him anyway. Oh, sure. Every time. Come on, you want to come up? No. Okay, but now we got him on camera. There he is. See, he really does exist. He was at least 3 times the size before he got his haircut. He looked so much like a bear cub that people were commenting on it because he had so much fur. He was so fluffy. He's very cute. Okay. While I'm on this break anyway, we might as well make use of it, right? So if you aren't already, I invite you to sign up for the mailing list. It's free, and it will keep you up to date with the shows that are coming out. Also, this month I'm going to start doing a once a month newsletter of news that I can't get to on the show, but would still be interesting to my fellow business owners out there, usually with a tech angle on it. So come back. There we go. Go to yourtechcoach.net/mailing list and you can sign up for it. Basically, I need your email address. You can put your name and more stuff if you want, but that's the minimum requirements in order to get signed up. When you sign up, watch, because you'll get a confirmation email that you have to reply to. That's just because of the whole GDPR thing. So you'll get that confirmation saying they think you asked for this. Do you really want to sign up for it? Just say yes, and then after that you'll get it. All right? Okay, so we've covered the basics of, okay, you need help. That's a given. But maybe there's other things you can do before you go down the road of hiring somebody, because the hiring process takes time. And if you are in a panic about needing help, you're not going to give it the time it needs. So look at your local community, high schools, community colleges, local colleges, check into their business departments, their art departments. There's usually somebody. Ask around with your neighbors, fellow business owners. Maybe they've got a contact that's helped them out. In those cases, you're going to want it to be something very specific. So take something that is taking too much of your time that you could explain to somebody and then have them go do, and then you could just verify it and make use of it. So that Fiverr, virtual assistants, that kind of thing. So when you do decide that, okay, you do need to hire an employee, you need somebody to come and work for you and help you out on a regular basis and all that kind of stuff, there are some things that you need to keep in mind. Now, the first thing you need to do is figure out exactly what you're hiring for. Now, everybody wants the unicorn. Everybody wants to hire the person who's willing to work for free, who can do everything, right? Of course, that's not practical. So the successful job postings are the ones that are very clear about what it is you're looking for as far as skills, time commitment, any kind of, previous experience. You need to be very specific about that. A lot of people, when they first write a job posting, it's very vague. And nobody knows how to respond to that. And it doesn't work well for both sides, right? So the perfect person might be out there, but might not respond because they're not really clear what you're looking for. The other side of it is you will get so many people sending you resumes, calling you, texting you, emailing you, that have none of the skills you need. And frankly, that falls on you because you weren't clear. Now, even when you are clear, that's still liable to happen. But the reality is, the clearer you are, the better response you're going to get to your posting, however you post it, and we'll talk about that in a minute. The other thing that you just need to be aware of is, right now, okay, it's 2019, it is an exceptionally tight market, at least here in the US, okay? So unemployment right now, depending on who's running the numbers, is somewhere between 3 and 4%. That's very, very low. And so you might have to talk somebody out of a job that they're in to come to work for you, because the odds of them sitting around going, gee, I need a job, is very low. So you're going to have a lot of competition for whatever kind of job posting you're going to put out there. And your ideal person probably is already working and maybe is looking for a change, maybe not. That's what they call, I think it's a passive hire. So it might be somebody who's not actively looking, but is kind of keeping an eye out. You would need to make sure that you're reaching those folks, because those folks that are on the fence are also a good market for you as far as potential hires. But again, you need to be very clear about what it is that you need. So you need, again, to figure out what it is you need somebody to do and be specific, okay? If you need somebody who is really good with numbers, that you want them to understand some accounting and be able to do math in their head and whatever, that's going to be different than somebody who maybe you're going to want to hire to do all of your artwork for your promotions and your website and all that kind of stuff. Very different skill sets. Now, the occasional unicorn will come across your path that can do both, but don't expect that. You want to figure out exactly what it is you want them to do so that you're setting both of you up for success, right? So that you're going to hire a person who's going to be successful working for you, and you're going to find somebody who's actually going to be helping you, not making your life worse. What else? Okay, so a lot of people, when they're first looking to hire, immediately turn to family as potential hires for a lot of reasons, right? You know them, you trust them, hopefully. maybe you're thinking that they'll be a little bit more flexible on price, that kind of thing. But you do need to be very careful about hiring friends or family, because sometimes that can be the death knell to a good relationship. I'm not saying it can't work. I'm just saying that you need to be everybody involved needs to be very honest about what it is that the situation would be, because you're now changing the rules, at least around the work situation, right? So if you're going to hire somebody to come work for you, okay, who is a friend or family, when they are working for you, they are not friend or family, they are employee. And you have to be sure that everybody's on board with that, everybody's clear about that, and that everybody's going to be comfortable with that. And it's actually harder than it might sound. So it's just something, if you're going to think about it, to tread very carefully. Next up is writing that good job description. This is not something that you're going to dash off in a couple of minutes. Writing a good job description takes work. And if you've never done it before, you probably want to go online, open the paper. I mean, not many job ads there anymore, but that's a good place to maybe post an ad these days because it'll stand out. But you want to go and read a few. Again, reach out if you have, other business owners that you can reach out to in your community. Get some feedback from them on, maybe look at ones that worked for them. Not that you're looking to copy and paste, because obviously you have a unique situation, but you do want to kind of get a feel for the things to include, how to phrase things, what to focus on, what to make, basically you want to say, what you absolutely have to do for this job, what would be nice to have. And then make sure that you're clear about the work environment and the expectations and all that kind of stuff, because you don't want to waste time with people applying that are not going to be a good fit. So you need to really narrow it down to exactly what it is you're looking for from the person, what they'll be doing, and how you're going to want them to do it. And you're going to need to do probably a couple different drafts of it. You need to be very careful that you are not violating any rules as you go through this. And this is going to be a recurring conversation here. A lot of people nobody sets out to write a job ad or go through the hiring process and say or do something that's actionable, right? But it happens. It happens a lot. It happens a lot for people who have never done this before. So you want to be very careful. You want to run it by somebody else. You want to make sure that you're not putting anything in there that in any way it could be misinterpreted or misconstrued in such a way as to cause a problem. Now, I'm going to give you a case in point here. So I get a lot of job postings come through to me, which is lovely. It's a good problem to have. I got one just a couple of weeks ago that frankly blew me out of my chair, because it said in the job posting that they don't want to hire anybody over 40 because new people don't learn things quickly. There is so much there. I mean, if I was the type of person who was going to file a lawsuit, I'd win just on that email. Okay, I could write my ticket. I'm not. I reached out to them. I explained to them why this was a bad idea. I got a very nice email back. Obviously, I'm not going to go work for them because it's a bad attitude, but it's just what sounds like an extreme example, but actually was a pretty minor one out of some of the things I've seen. So you do want to be very careful about how you phrase things, what you say in it. Murphy's letting you know he's here. So then you're going to, post it. Now the question is where? How do you get the word out? Again, start local, right? Start with, again, the colleges, the high schools, any kind of, job aid agency in town. If there's a bulletin board at the library, make use of that. There's a lot of ways to get the word out that doesn't have to cost you anything. If that's not working for you, then you might want to go ahead and hit the job sites, right? So whether you're going to go to Indeed or Dice or Monster or whatever one it is that you want to use, there are a lot of ones that are specific to your area. You probably want to go check those out. If you are a member of any organization, check to see if maybe they have some kind of posting service that you can use. When you go to post an ad as an employer, they're going to charge you. And so that's why you're going to want to do a little checking around, make sure you make a good choice. So for example, Dice, as a general broad statement, is very strong on job postings in the technical area. So that probably wouldn't be a great place to post an ad if you need somebody maybe as a seamstress. Okay, I'm not saying that it can't work. I'm just saying that is not the first place that somebody with those skills is necessarily going to look, just as an example. So that is another thing to think about. You can also, as I kind of mentioned earlier, you can look at something like your local newspapers, right? So everybody, I think, still gets those newspapers that are thrown in the driveway or on the front stoop or shoved in your mailbox, right? And it's usually that these days it's just like filled with coupons and stuff, but they still have classifieds. It might be worth giving it a try because you will stand out, right? Because once upon a time, that's where you went, right? Back in the olden days, you used to have to go and get the newspaper and circle the ads and mail in your resume or mail in an application. But, you know, these days everything's online. But by going old school, right, you could actually get attention that maybe you wouldn't get otherwise. So it's something to think about. All right. So those are those points. Let me just check in again here. We're good. Okay. It's been such a day. All right, let's keep rolling. So we've covered the basics. So let's talk about the interview. Okay, so when you finally are going to talk to somebody, you're probably going to start, you know, over the phone, unless maybe if you have a physical location, an office, a storefront, whatever, maybe you're going to invite them in so they can check it out. You need to have a game plan going into the interview. You need to have some questions written down. You need to have some idea about, you know, how you're going to conduct this interview. But you also, again, you need to be very careful about what you say and how you say it. Okay, there are certain things, just like, you know, if you're at a party, okay, there are certain topics you just don't bring up. And even if they offer this information, that's actually putting you in danger, because then if they don't get the job, they could say, well, you didn't hire me because of this, even though you didn't ask, they offered it. So you need to be very careful and try to control the conversation as much as you can. If they start to go off track into areas that feel like there might be a problem, you need to pull them back. So for example, age. Can't bring it up, can't guess at it, can't use that as a reason. Other than if you're looking for somebody who needs to be able to drive, obviously they need to have a license, which requires you to be a certain age. If it's serving alcohol, something like that, dealing with certain equipment, there's certainly a minimum age, but no maximum age. There's probably a couple other things like that, but in general, don't do what that person who emailed me did. Race, ethnicity, color, gender, sex, no. Out, doesn't matter. You're looking for the best person. All this other stuff doesn't matter. Don't bring it up, don't talk about it, don't go there, because it's only going to cause you trouble. Same thing about country of origin, birthplace, no. Religion, no. Disabilities, no. Marital status, family status, pregnancy, health. None of these things you're not allowed to ask. They're actually illegal questions. And I've actually had people ask me these, and I've actually said to them back, you don't want to ask me that question because that's actually illegal, and you need to go and research that if you don't know that. If it in a big, always correct it when it happens in a big company, because HR departments is supposed to take care of that. But for those of us who are on a smaller scale, you might not realize that the question you're asking is a problem. So just as an example, something that sounds like a perfectly safe question, right? Just trying to break the ice, trying to make things comfortable. You could ask something about, so, do you have any children, or, what does your husband or your wife do for a living? All of those are illegal. All of those are going to get you in trouble. So don't do it. So this is what I mean by you can't just jump in and start the hiring process. You need to spend the time to figure out who it is you're looking for, what you're going to need them to do, write that job posting until it's crystal clear that that's what you're looking for. Then you need to educate yourself to make sure that you don't get yourself into any trouble as you go through the process of weeding out the applicants, including the interview questions. It's not worth the trouble that it could possibly cause you. So you need to be very careful about what it is, and if they offer it up, just drop whatever they said, don't pursue it any further, and change your line of questioning, because you don't need the trouble. Nobody needs the trouble. Now, I'm not trying to scare you, and I'm realizing that as I'm saying this kind of things, some of you might be getting scared out there. Don't. You just need to be practical about it. You need to approach this like you do everything else in your business. You need to be thorough. You need to be thoughtful. You need to have a plan in place, right? You don't just randomly decide, when you're going to open, when you're going to close, right? You don't randomly decide what products you're going to cover or what services you're going to cover, right? A lot of thought goes into that. A lot of thought goes into your pricing and your marketing and all that. As much or more needs to go into the hiring process. If you don't have any experience with having an employee, having to pay taxes, health coverage, all that kind of stuff, the difference between full-time and part-time, You need to reach out to somebody. Now, you either want to reach out to an employment lawyer. If you know of one, you can always find one online. You could always reach out to, there's different companies that handle like the payroll processing, that kind of stuff. Most of them, for the small businesses, it's kind of out of reach, but you could at least reach out to them to see. Maybe they have recommendations. You need to educate yourself on this because, again, this is not something that you can just one off. Now, a lot of people will, instead of hiring somebody as an employee, will go the route of hiring them as a contractor or as a consultant, which can be okay, but again, you need to be very careful because those are dangerous waters too. You can't do it because it feels easier or because it saves you money. You can't hire somebody as a contractor or as a freelancer and then try to treat them as an employee. Okay, so you can't have it both ways, right? You can't avoid providing health care and avoid sick days and vacation days and all that other stuff because it's easier on you, and yet treat them as an employee. There have been major lawsuits over this, and I'm just trying to save you from the pain and suffering. One of the things that you can do is, again, go online and educate yourself. So like something like this, the U.S. Small Business Administration has a very good website about all this stuff. All these questions that you have, everybody else has had. So there are good places to go and get those pieces of information. They can lead you in the right direction if you need more information on stuff. You're also going to want to look at, now of course this is US, wherever you are in the world, there'll be something comparable in your area. But you're also going to want to, you're going to want to look at this kind of thing. You're going to want to look at, like in the United States, at the state level. Okay, if you go to your state's official website, they will have this kind of information for employers. Because there are state regulations and then there are federal regulations. And all of this applies whether you're going to hire contractor, freelancer, employer. If you go with like the Fiverr kind of thing or the virtual assistant, they take care of that for you. So this is only if you're the one that's doing this hiring. But you need to get up to speed on it. You need to understand it. If you don't have this information already in your brain, you do want to reach out and talk to somebody who knows. Again, your local small business administration can probably help you. There's also, wait, does that still exist? There used to be a thing, I think it was called SCORE. Hang on one second. No, I don't know if it exists anymore. No, it is. Okay. Oh, that's what they call the Small Business Association. It's the same site. Okay. So they are good research because they have a lot of people that have done this kind of thing before and then sort of work as almost like a mentorship kind of a thing. So you can reach out, you can ask them questions. The point here is just get yourself educated, know what you're getting into, know what it is that you can and you can't do and what's going to work out best for you. And that way you can avoid all kinds of pain and suffering. And at the end of it, end up with somebody who is going to come in, help you with your business, help you grow, take some of the work off of you so that you can focus on other things, and maybe they're going to do some of the day-to-day kind of stuff. Whatever it is that you need the help with, there are people out there to do it. It's just going to be a harder process, but if you prepare for it, if you've got your plan in place, if you're very clear about what you're looking for, and you reach out into the obvious places and maybe the not so obvious places, you stand a much better chance of finding a very good candidate. Okay? All right, so hopefully that covers it. I mean, that this actually could be, an 18-week course. But, I did want to kind of touch on it because it seems to be something that's kicking up right now. I've had a couple of people reach out to me about it. I've also noticed a big influx of articles and even news pieces on it. So clearly there's something up, probably also because we're going into the warmer weather. So, landscapers, gardeners, camp counselors, dog walkers, like there's all that kind of more seasonal stuff that's coming up. So people are maybe looking to hire seasonal help, which is a whole nother conversation. But still, it's still a hiring process. You still got to get it done. You've got to do it, especially in that kind of case, you've got to do it before you need it, right? Because you've got to have those people in place and trained when your customers are coming. So there's a lot to think about, but if you need somebody in the moment, you can go ahead and do something right now. Pick one or two things that you need help with: managing your mail list, managing your social, writing copy, doing the artwork, whatever it is. Maybe, following up on your invoices and your billing, whatever it is, you can find somebody. If you can narrow it down to something that's specific, you can go to Fiverr, your local schools, colleges. You can go and get a virtual assistant, and they're quite comfortable coming in, completing whatever the task is over whatever time period, and then you've got a resource that you can always reach out to again later. They're totally fine with that, and that will then buy you the time to really focus in on finding a good employee that is going to work well for you in your environment, in your business. Okay? Hopefully, that's all going to work out for you. I'm telling you, if you put the effort in beforehand, it makes the entire process easier. That said, the easiest hiring process is never easy. So don't make it harder on yourself. Put the time in, know exactly what it is you're looking for, and dive in and get it done, because that's the next step, right? That's how you grow your business. You can't keep doing everything by yourself and still grow the way you want to. So we're all going to get there. All right, everybody. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, you can always reach out to me on the website, yourtechcoach.net, or on Twitter, _techcoach. I'm also on Instagram and LinkedIn and all those places. So if you need to find me, but these are the easiest to find me. This is the easiest place to go. All right. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I will see you next week. Bye.